It's an industry that will grow 3 times faster than the average fashion industry. It's already close to 9% of the share of the overall business.
So how do brands respond on Zalando? What kind of winning strategies do you see that work really well?
As a brand, you have now more levers than ever to differentiate yourself towards the customer.
Hi, I'm Elena, and this is Business Casual. And I'm very excited to have Nacho Royo Hernandez with me. Nacho, I don't think you need an introduction, but maybe you can tell us what you do at Zalando and outside of Zalando.
I have a very exciting life in Zalando, doing a lot of things with our partners and our customers, but I also have another very exciting life outside of it. By principle, I try to do as many things as I can in life, and lately I'm working my way as a fashion influencer specifically in TikTok, where I now crossed last week the 80,000 followers. Besides this, I'm also continuing my career as a musician, where I perform for 2 bands, and I was in June performing in Spain for the first time, and was an absolutely amazing experience.
Really excited to have you here, and what we wanted to talk about is winning strategies on Zalando. And the first question I want to ask you is actually about the consumer. So Zalando has over 52 million consumers. So what kind of shifts do you see in their behavior in this current macroeconomic environment over the past months?
Currently, you start to see more maturity on certain developments, and I think today we can clearly see that the customer feels very comfortable in the second-hand market, specifically the European customer. It's an industry that will grow 3 times faster than the average fashion industry. It's already close to 9% of the share of the overall business, operating more than 300 million. So it's here to stay, right? And from that perspective, it changes a lot how a customer will be thinking about purchasing a product or purchasing a brand, because there is equity and value beyond buying it and using it. On the other side, you have that other development on the entry price point, no? And the extreme fast fashion driven mostly by platforms like Temu or Shein, and they've really built a space in the mind of the customer. Specifically of a certain demographic, a certain wallet. But it's giving a choice to every entrepreneur or every current fashion brand owner, where do I want to go, no? And how do I differentiate myself? I think these 2 customer behaviors are giving us 2 different spectrums.
So how do brands respond on Zalando? What kind of winning strategies do you see that work really well?
Across the last years, I have seen a higher willingness to understand the end customer. Brands are spending more time utilizing the data and the insights that we provide to define and target better the strategies and the investments that they make. That goes, for example, in the direction of thinking the presentation of the product. And if your product detail page is your window, why wouldn't you invest so much into that? So I create videos, I elevate the content, and then you see the customer reaction, and then you see how these products become kind of like iconic towards your customer base. And you can really do that by investing in the content behind your products. We also see that with the degree of time spent in the definition of the attributes that make a product great. That means when you upload a product, you can upload as a t-shirt, but you can upload it as a baggy fit t-shirt, as a 100% cotton baggy fit t-shirt, as a sustainably supply chain certified 100% cotton baggy t-shirt, right? So the more attributes you give, the more you can curate to the audience that you're going after, and the better that the customer can understand why the product is worth what it's worth, right? And usually therefore willing to pay more for it. The third one being about the ability to use the customer experience in your advantage. So once you see that product or that brand and you feel like you're ready to make a purchase decision about it, this is just the beginning of engaging with that customer, right? Luckily for us, there is a huge amount of service providers, excellent service providers, both from Zalando as well as from the outside industry, whose mission is to elevate the customer experience. You know? So you have players that are extremely excellent on post-purchase delivery, right? You have players that handle returns with an extreme care. You have players that then utilize the insights to create that loop of engagement with the customer from a data perspective. I think the development is very exciting because as a brand, you have now more levers than ever to differentiate yourself towards the customer. and platforms together with services are making all of that more accessible and more effective.
Yeah. Zalando has really done a great job, as you said, looking and onboarding those very specialized providers for the fashion industry. So it's like an ecosystem that Zalando orchestrates and also productizes. What kind of services should brands consider when going on Zalando? What they should do themselves kind of versus outsourcing in a way?
When I see now what Zalando offers, what we offer also through our services, we have an excellent logistics pan-European network, right? So while a lot of the partners could be very good about delivery, they usually will struggle with returns at scale. It is a very concrete operation that Zalando has mastered over a lot of years, how to handle returns at scale. On the other side, the customer is used to, they shop in Zalando because they know that return experience is unmatched. So it's a win-win-win to team up from those aspects. I also think that if you as a brand are looking to develop intelligence behind your business, it means most of the fashion brands operate today highly manually. Therefore, there is a huge opportunity to leverage more data at scale in your decision-making process. This is obviously something we've mastered as a company as well, and we are lucky to have for example, in our wholesale business, some of the best e-commerce trading tooling probably in the world. If you as a partner want to build that intelligence, operating through the marketplace gives you access to the data. I think we are so lucky in Zalando to have some of the best talent that exists today in content production, actually. I'm very impressed with the developments that we've done around the PDP images, the editorial. Colleagues like Matthias Hasse are on the edge of utilization and understanding of the 3D rendering technology, the AI self-automated content adaptation, content creation. So I think that we are very close to a point where you could team up with us to achieve a level of effectiveness and excellence on content.
How important is localization at Zalando and beyond?
Is extremely important. One thing that we've been working on is through all these 52 million customers and years of data, and through a pan-European operation, we can start to now create insights on a lot more granular level than we would do before. We start to understand a lot better the nuances of the customer behavior on every country, with also every commodity group, with also every brand at different points in time. And now we are putting this layer of understanding the customer lenses on local level. And then we are able to create this new effectiveness and profit pools, value creation, for example, around convenience, about where to storage an article, what kind of content will resonate better.
And if you had to choose one thing that brands should do first before they go live on Zalando, what would it be?
Our customers are amazing lifetime value customers. We have a pretty unique skill to grab a customer and build a journey with them over their life. So if you're a brand, you have to think, how can I create that lifetime value? You have to be clear about what is the brand story you're going to tell across the years. How is your customers going to evolve with you in this journey? What is the new customer you want to go for? Be true to the value of the equity that you plan to build. We are an amazing platform to take an existing story, an existing equity, even if it's incipient, it's not a problem, and bring it through a pan-European e-commerce operation with highly effective tooling, intelligence, reaching 52 million customers potentially across more than 20 markets, right? So if you know what you want, and if you are investing into that, we are going to be there with you to execute that journey. And not knowing that part leads to the different pitfalls that I have seen across the years, not being clear about that. There's so many brands that we've been able to reposition on a pan-European level. There's so many brands that we've been able to bring into Europe in a successful manner. They are the ones also on a mission to retain the craft, of fashion and what it really means, right? That everlasting value, that confidence, that idea that your wardrobe is something you will give one day to someone, right? And it will hold the value. I think that just maybe as a last note, that's the most beautiful thing about vintage, right? It's like to think that there was a customer at some point in time who fell in love with that product, fell in love with that brand, wore it, had it on the wardrobe in the 1960s and the 1970s. And there's a customer today, 2 generations later, 1 generation later, a 15-year-old, wearing that product and thriving in that product. I mean, how cool is that? Like, just, there are not so many things in life, that have that power.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for a great conversation, Nacho.
Thank you so much, Elena. It's been a pleasure, but I think we are forgetting something. Rock and roll.